Yeah, this is the big thing that everyone's talking about, right? Is this epic pass. It's $2,500 or dollars. It feels like it, right? 2,500 sky stones, and this covers both, right? So it's actually 900 and 1,600 if you bought them individually. I think if you buy this one, this price changes to 1,600, so it's 2,500 to get both. For some quick math, Smilegate values 2,500 sky stones at about $80, I believe. Yeah, 1,000 and 1,500, 2,500, 30 and 50, about $80. So that's the question. Is this worth $80 of virtual currency? This is roughly $20 and this is roughly another $60, 80 total. But is it worth it? What all do you get in this? Well, what all do we get in this? Let's see. We get, I can't tell. It doesn't say. Anywhere in game, there's this pretty purple box thing. When you hold down on it, it tells you that there's a mana selection thing, 2 selection chests for protection gear, and 2 accessory 88 gears, but that's all it really says. It doesn't give you any details on it. Now, they did make a stove post where they go into more details about it. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so it discusses it a little bit here, right? It tells you what all is in it, how to use it, what you can acquire. That's what you get from the basic. Talks about the pricing of the upgrade. Tells you what you get, right? With the premium rewards, it gives you a list of everything you get. And some of this looks good in the sense that a lot of us are starved for reforged mats and charms. But is it worth roughly $20 equivalent worth of sky stones? And then there is the special reward, which is just says a special reward. And as we saw in game, it talked about what was in it. Here it says main stat for the special reward selector chest. Main stat for the boots, necks, and rings is determined by the same probability of 1 divided by n. Aren't you glad that you get to do math in your tap waifu booba game? What does 1 divided by n mean? And the substats granted are determined by the same probability of 1 divided by n. This is the most complicated way of saying stats are random. They're not fixed. It's just the normal stat RNG for getting random substats assigned. Yes, Baka is correct. It means random AF. Why they couldn't just say stats are random? Because the implication is if you're spending 2,500 sky stones on something, it's probably going to have fixed rewards. Most of the stuff that they give away like this has fixed stats on it. AI gear, arena gear, event gear. It's all kind, but you know, they're just basically doing it the same as an equipment pack where it is RNG. And that's a lot of sky stones to spend on an RNG pack. It's roughly $60 when an equipment pack, I think they're actually cheaper. Aren't they? Aren't they like 20 and 50? Now, given, with this, you also get that mana selection gem, right? To be able to reset your gear if it rolls bad. So, for that $60 extra, you get to get gear with a chance that it has decent subs, with a chance that those subs roll good, with a chance to reset them so you can have another chance that they roll decent if they were good in the first place. Wow. Don't buy this, guys. This is awful. Vote with your feet. Don't support this pack. They already are overpricing the heck out of these. As soon as they hit the Hoochie shop, we saw that they're overpriced. 2,500 sky stones, roughly $60 for an equipment pack, and 2 reset stones when an equipment pack costs $50. And you get reforged mats with the equipment pack. I can't support this, and I strongly encourage people to send a message to Smilegate that this is not priced appropriately for the game. I mean, gacha games don't always have good pricing on their packs. We know this, and they got to make money. I understand pricing whatever the market can bear, but this dollar per value is just not it, guys. You do what you will. I just recommend against it. Like I said, I was talking to Kana about this, and he said he already made a video about it, so let's watch that video together and see what he said and see if we agree with him or not.
Hello guys, today I just kind of wanted to talk about the new Epic Pass, the Heroes Legacy Season Pass that they've added to the game. Now, of course, there are a couple things or a couple, stipulations behind the pass, how to get EXP for it, or what the pass is going to be. But of course, as you can see, there's a special Epic Pass addition to this thing that increases or benefits the boost of the pass. And here are all of the rewards when it comes.
I just want to take 1 second here to say, how bad is it that the only place you can get details about what's in this pass is from a stove post and not in game, right? I mean, you go and you look at this thing in game and all you can do is just see the image of the chest. If you press and hold on it, it tells you what's in it, but it doesn't give you details about how it works, about how it's random chance. Oh, and the other funny thing too is if you click on it, check out the bottom screen. If you just click once on it, it tells you that there's a skin that can be acquired by purchasing the pass with special upgrades. There's no skin. They forgot to change this message. You believe that? I mean, I know that's an accidental glitch, but I mean, how many people think there's a skin in this pack because of that?
Actual pass itself. And the question you're probably asking yourself, of course, is this worth it? Now, let's be absolutely clear.
No. I mean, save us some time here, Connor. No, it's not worth it.
Here, if you do need something from the pass, i.e. any of the charms or the reforged materials, I should say specifically when it comes to reforged materials, there is pretty much no argument. If you don't have access to a reforged material and you need it, there is definitely an argument to be made about, again, just purchasing the pack simply because you have access to reforged materials that you otherwise have no other way of getting outside of just being lucky that the expedition.
Okay, you have no way of getting the reforged materials outside of being lucky, doing hunts, doing expos. Okay, you know, I mean, maybe you need it right away, right? It's sweet. I think I see where he's going with this, right? RTA season is ending. For those who haven't done the math, it'll be April 26th will be the last day of RTA season. That's not officially been announced yet, but every single season since the beginning of time has been exactly 12 weeks to the day, and exactly 12 weeks from when this season started was April 26th. So that's when it's going to end. And people who are doing high-end RTA know that, and new units are coming out. Politis will make it inside of the window for use in season. So maybe people have burned through all their stuff and they need these things. Well, I guess it's only $20 to the upgrade to get these stones, which is cheaper than just buying packs. It's probably cheaper than buying sky stones and farming expos. So I guess if you want to spend the $20, the 900 sky stones to get reforged mats and charms, you do you. It's a time saver, right? It's spending money to save time. I get the stuff immediately instead of spending a month grinding expeditions and hunts to get the exact same rewards.
Expedition pass gives it to you, or I guess not having to roll for that pieces of gear or buying equipment packs. In any case, to be absolutely fair to the pack itself, in that sense, no matter what, this is kind of the equivalent of giving, an exclusive drop in a sense, just because, again, if you aren't able to reforge your Banshee materials because it's not on the Expedition Pass or anything like that, then how else are you going to upgrade your gear? And if you're pushing towards the end of the season, you get the picture. Long story short, the exclusivity or the fear of missing out behind some of the items in this pack are, of course, going to make the pack generally more appealing.
I think this last thing on the list right here is probably about the only thing that makes it tempting, right? Getting the reforged mat, because I mean, these reforged mats, really people only care about the Wyvern and Banshee ones. Nobody gives a crap about Golem reforged mats or A13 reforged mats, or they're probably flushed on manifestation stones at this point, but everybody is starved. Everybody that pushes high end is starved for Banshee and Wyvern. Reforged mats, especially with how hard we've been pushing Rift lately. It's almost like they set the stage for this pact by giving us Rift, which randomizes the reforged mat drops. And then the conversion chest in there, those are really nice. Those solve problems with new gear.
Appealing, especially if you're more annoyed at the fact that you can't reforge gear. But that being said, if you have no issues with finding reforged materials, or if you've not needed that many pieces that you can forge anyways, then of course the value of this pack goes down, because long story short, if you take a look at this, it kind of slots itself in as a glorified big charm pack alongside some reforged materials. Now,
okay, Biako, you have to be out 2 weeks before RTA season ends, and to be allowed in RTA season. Politis comes out next week, like on the 11th, I think. So she's in. She's in by 1 day, but the collab, believe people are saying it's supposed to start on the 18th, and that is that's 8 days away from the end. So none of the collab units will be permissible in RTA season.
Again, to be clear, what it says here is that although the normal premium pass gives you like a couple ranks or something like that, if you look at the special epic pass, it says it unlocks premium and special rewards in addition to, again, giving you free season rewards. And again, a lot of people were kind of asking, well, what's in the Heroes Legacy special reward chest? What is it? And it, as it is right now, it reads that it is a level 88 Mana Stone selection chest, an 88 protection gear.
So you're brand new to the game. What's that mean to you? What's a Mana Stone selection chest mean? Anybody? Anywhere in the game, in Epic 7's game, you can go and figure out what a Mana Stone selection chest is or does? Yeah.
Selection chest and an 88 accessory selection chest. And again, you may be wondering, well, what are these? Like, what do they mean by 88 protection gear chest? And this is what we found out, guys. So this.
Okay, so God bless Wind Demon and whoever else it was that sent these pictures. This is what you actually get if you spend the $60. This is what you get. 4 random stats. Substats cannot be the same kind as the main stat. Long-worded way of saying it's exactly like any random drop gear. They're not fixed stats. It's not like arena gear. It's not like event gear. It's not like ancient inheritance gear. It will roll like 88 gear. It won't have the crappy, it says 88, but it rolls like 85 stuff that some of the earlier arena gear had. It rolls like 88 gear, but will it be good?
This pack.
Will it be good gear? I mean, put up the post of Light rolling his gear again. We'll show that again.
What do you mean, what defense?
You can actually hear the moment when his soul leaves his body.
What do you mean, what defense?
Or this special chest works essentially the same way that the equipment packs work, in a sense where you have the choice of selecting the set or the piece of gear.
It works exactly like equipment packs work for $10 additional. That's kind of a problem. It's $10 more expensive than buying an equipment pack, but it works just like equipment packs.
For the, the specific armor piece that you want to receive from the pack. Now, in this case, you can choose between any of these pieces of gear: helmet, sword, chest, or boot, and then choose the exact set that you want. However, you aren't allowed to choose the substats or see what the substats of each piece is going to be before you begin into it. Now, the reason why this is, of course, kind of a double-edged sword is because they weren't specific on what exactly you could get as a substat, and of course, courtesy of one of the.
Look at that beautiful speed helm with no speed substat on it. That's the speed gear that everybody wants, right? It's got a flat on there, it's got a minimum roll on crit damage, and it's got no speed sub.
The content creators, Rikazo, you may have seen him streaming. They opened up the pack, and as you can see here, it doesn't look good, guys. This is a speed set helmet that has 4 crit damage, 9% attack, and 8 defense. And so there's no guarantee for maximum rolls. There's no guarantee for what kind of rolls you'll get in general. So long story short, if you were thinking about buying the pack specifically for the 88s, it doesn't look too good. Now, of course, again, like I mentioned previously, the main appeal, in my opinion, of the pack is definitely going to come down to whether or not you value a lot of these reforged materials, the blue.
If you've got money to spend and you've got a lot of gear to reforge, I'm okay with this. $20 is $20. It's a lot of cash for some reforged mats, but this is a lot of reforged mats. I mean, there's 100 Banshee here. There's another 100 Banshee here, so it's a full reforge. It's giving you 200 of every single reforge mat, so that's nice. And the conversion chest is nice. These are time-saving things, which is what most packs are, right? It's trading money for time. Instead of grinding this stuff out over a period of 2 weeks, I drop $20 and I get it immediately. None of these are account changing, but they can facilitate some things. They could let you use a unit now that you probably couldn't use for another couple of weeks if you ground it out naturally. You got to decide if that $20 is worth it to you, if that 900 Skystones is worth it for you. I'm on the fence about it. I think it just depends on your spending level and your place in the game and how competitive you're trying to be. If you're playing competitive RTA, this is a lot more attractive than just a, hey, I'm a PvE gamer who enjoys Guild Wars and chilling with my friends. Maybe this isn't that big of a deal to you.
Blue boxes, the conversion chests, or the the charms if you're really desperate for it, alongside some other niche materials like the leaves and such. But just based off of what we've seen from the pack itself, if you aren't in desperate need of substat modification gems, if you aren't in need of blue boxes, if you aren't desperate for something like leaves or any of the reforged materials, then this pack, long story short, is not really worth it for you. Now, again, to be clear, if you compare this to the Expedition Pass, which I will...
He's going to talk about the Expo Pass. So the Expo Pass is 1,500 and this is 900, right?
I just switched tabs really quick. Okay, so if you take a look at the Expedition Pass, you can understand why, if you are someone that had already or chose to...
Okay, yeah, so you get 100 of each Manny, some charms, 6 blue boxes, or 3 blue boxes, 3 Mola, 200 more. Okay, so you do get more, not quite double, right? It looks like this is 25% better for 50% more Skystones. But this also comes with Molagora, and it also comes with gold transmit stones. So that kind of makes up the difference. I think they're pretty damn equal in value.
Understand why, if you are someone that had already or chose to purchase Expedition passes, why you may consider buying this new pass. However, the big caveat that kind of differentiates the Expedition Pass as opposed to the pass you just saw is that for things like Molagoras, things like, again, these boxes that allow you to choose modifications.
Well, those modification stones you get with or without purchasing the premium pack. The 1,500 Skystones is only for the stuff highlighted in blue.
Substat, selection chests. These are things that are specifically monthly gated or like longer time gated as opposed to something like charms or leaves or some of the other materials that you can get from the equipment pass that we just...
Yeah, he missed the plot a little bit on this one. The only thing you get from that 1,500 Skystones on this pass is 3 extra Mola, 3 extra gold stones, 3 extra blue boxes, and some charms, and about 150 or 250 more of the on-banner reforge mats, which I think is worth it if you've got the Skystones to spend. I think it is worth it. Compared to the Epic Pass, the Epic Pass has 2, so this gives you 1 extra blue box. It gives you Molagora, 3 Molagora, which is really, really good. It gives you 100. It gives you 100 less of each reforge mat. And and this only gives you the reforge mats for the hunts, the expos that are on banner. The Epic Pass gives you reforge mats for all of the expos, on banner or not. So, yeah, I don't know. I think if you've got the money and you need the reforge mats, you're not swimming in a billion reforge mats. If you've got the Skystones to spend, I think the 900 Skystone one is worth it if you need those kind of things. But I'm not thrilled about it. It's lean. It is very, very similar in value to what the premium pass in Expeditions is. If you feel the Expedition pass is worth it, you should feel the Epic pass is worth it as well, because they're pretty damn equal.
As mentioned before, for 2,500. And beyond all of this, this is a 1,500 Skystone pack, which feels a little bit worse, or it feels a little bit better in terms of overall value, because this is essentially trading 2 weeks worth of arena in exchange for this premium supply pass, which again not only gives you charms, which again so does the equipment pass give you, but it also gives you a lot of Molagoras as well. Now again, in terms of actual value though, this really shouldn't affect your decision making. It really again just comes down to whether or not you need more or less of these reforged materials, because
yeah,
again,
dead horse beaten, the premium
pass,
rewards
you're kind
seem
of
worth it,
yourself, or you're kind of in a position where you need to ask yourself,
but what about the special reward?
How valuable is being able to reforge gear right now as opposed to later? Are you going to miss out on something? Like if Rift comes out, are you going to be able to clear the content? Are you in desperate need of clearing or trying to hit at least Masters and RTA and you need these upgrades? Then in these sort of situations, then you could definitely argue that you would definitely find value in the Heroes Legacy Season Pass.
Wow, he has said, if you need this stuff and it's a value to it's worth it so many different times. So I agree with Kana. The 900 is worth it. If you feel the Expedition Pass is worth it to you, then the Epic Pass should be worth it to you as well for the 900, if you've got the Skystones to spend. Everybody's got to make that own decision. I can't make that decision for you. I personally think it's kind of worth. I personally am not going to get it because I personally have 118 Skystones left.
Being said though, at least from what we've seen thus far, you still get a decent amount of the rewards, although you obviously don't receive all of or nearly as many of the reforged materials, just based off of what we've seen here. For the free rewards, again, you see a lot of just charm.
I gotta give credit where credit's due. So far, Khanna's been spot on this one, right? I was a little skeptical going into it, but he's kind of brought me around to his way of thinking on this. I think the 900 Skystone portion, this portion right here, that I can't buy because I'm out of Skystones, but this, the premium pass, I think it is as value as the Expedition Pass for 1500, and that should be your ruler. That should be your measure. If you always buy the Expedition Pass and you always say, hey, the Expedition Pass is value, then this is value too. It's the Premium Pass is slightly better than the Expedition in some ways. The Expedition Pass is slightly better than the Premium in some ways. Bottom line is, if you buy the Expedition Pass for 1500 Skystones, you'll probably want to buy the Premium Pass for 900 if you have the Skystones. But this for 1600 more Skystones. Let's see what Khanna has to say about that.
None of them are actually specific to the reforged materials. So in terms of value or things that you might want to consider, if you just are looking at it for the charms, go ahead, just do the free, the free route. That's totally fine. You get charms, leaves, etc. Excuse me. But if you're looking to actually purchase the premium rewards, again, this is specifically if you are more PvP based or if you're trying to complete a build on a certain character, that is definitely what you're looking at. And then finally, if you're looking or considering the Heroes Legacy season pass, I would highly recommend you reconsider purchasing this pack because again,
Okay, so he's talking about the 2500 Skystone version, the 1600 Skystone adder pass, whether or not you should purchase that. And I'm glad to hear right out of the gate he said he strongly hopes you reconsider hitting that button.
Although it is 88 gear, if you guys are familiar with what you can get out of, again, something like the monthly Nightmare Raid, if you get one of the pieces of gear that rolls really poorly, even though some of the Nightmare Raid pieces, again, are decently high rolled, just a bad combination of substats, and all of a sudden, there's no reason for you to continue rolling it at all. I can't even begin to to explain to you guys how.
What he's trying to say here, and I agree, is I have thrown away way more 88 gear than I have ever kept coming out of Nightmare Raid. Gear that looked good enough that I went ahead and started rolling it, and I still threw it away.
How many different pieces of gear that I get, specifically from Nightmare Raid, that are 88, but they just look absolutely unusable. The crit sword, I believe, comes to mind, and so does some of the chests that, again, just have super low rolls, or they're just not very useful. But long story short, guys, this was kind of just released at about 11 o'clock EST, so about like 20 minutes or so ago from when I am recording this. I just wanted to kind of give my initial thoughts on this because, again, I think people were kind of, concerned about if this is going to be super pay to win, if it's going to be good, or it's going to be bad. And long story short, I'm kind of leaning this on the bad side because I don't think most people need this as much. Again, it's a super RNG box. And again, a lot of these things are things that you can get just by waiting. But again, if you are a bit impatient, by all means, I could definitely see a reason for you to purchase the premium version of the pass, but not even, honestly, the Heroes Legacy section, because, my goodness, that just... like, you guys were complaining about the 88 free gear that we had for counter that rolls all into effectiveness. Wait till you roll Penta into flat HP or something on one of these pieces. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you again for everyone that watched. I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure to leave a comment letting me know what you learned. That'd be pretty cool. And again, make sure to like, comment, turn the notification bell, and subscribe. I'm going to be bouncing between doing content. I know a lot of the content I'm doing right now is
I love the don't get scammed right after he does a video called Don't Get Scammed. Also, for real, guys, props to Khanna for putting this out so quickly too.
So I'd appreciate it if you guys support.
Here is a...
Hopefully you guys are interested.
Shh, Khanna, I'm talking. Here is a link to his video, guys. Go over there and throw him a like, because this was good. He was Johnny on the spot, getting this information out to let people know that this is not a great value pack, that there are some dangers in it, that anybody who didn't read Stove, and not just didn't read Stove, but didn't read Stove and didn't digest this message and what it means, might have dropped 1600 Skystones expecting gear with set stats. And
What do you mean, what, Diva?
And got burned. Because I think any reasonable person would have taken a look at this price tag and thought, surely we can at least select the main stats. Even if the substats are random, we can at least... No. And a lot of it is because of these mana selection stones. We saw these things in Hoochie's shop for like 1800 and 1600 Skystones a pop. That's where they're getting this 2500. Right? That price is the mana selection stones, and the gear is just optional. They have overpriced. The price point they have set on these things is so ridiculously high that it has overinflated this chest. I am not sure what price point I would have been okay with. This is a chance to get something that has a chance to have a main stat that you can work with, and then another chance that the substats are decent enough to work with, and then there's a chance that when you roll those stats, they roll decent, and if they don't, you can reset it to have another set of chances that it might be okay. God, that feels bad. And Smilegate may not like it, and I don't care. This is bad pricing, and it's a little bit predatory in the sense that there's no way to find out what's in this except to have seen a tiny-ass note on a stove post that most people would miss anyway. I mean, good lord. That's terrible way to inform the public that the stats are random, is in a footnote on the page. So yeah, don't get this. Vote with your feet. I mean, really consider the message you're sending Smilegate. By buying this, you're basically saying, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with you pricing these mana stones at this point. I really think we need to not spend money on this. And they very at least need to fix this. The one thing the in-game info does is tell you that there's something in this pack that's not in this pack. Good lord. Okay, good. Yes, I'll put a link in the description of the video that will take you to the Stove website where you can send send feedback to them on the computer. But if you're in the game, just go up and click on this little 4 boxes in the corner, go into settings, and go into customer support. And get flashbanged. And submit an inquiry. And click the inquire button. And then you can select all the things, tell them what it's all about, tell them this is overpriced, but mostly hammer on that there's no in-game details as to what exactly comes into the pack. Players aren't informed that it's going to be random. They don't go into enough detail about it to make sure that people are buying it aware of what they're buying. And when you're done, you click register, which is their fancy word for submit. You don't have to fill out a registration form or anything. That's just the Korean mistranslation for the word submit, to submit your request. Once my eyes adjust back down. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you give Kana a sub. I know a lot of people give my boy grief, but he is out here fighting the good fight and doing his best to protect the community. I know I appreciated that video. I will put a link to his socials in the description of this video once I upload it. After you're done liking and subscribing his videos, make sure you like and subscribe mine.